Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janet and welcome to the Call to Create podcast. I hope you're making today a really good day, like really good. And I wanted to talk about this thing that seems to be happening a lot. And I'm talking about it today because I've struggled with this kind of stuff too. I think probably since I was a teenager. But do you feel like you are your biggest obstacle most of the time? I want to ask you that question because it is real. The struggle is real. And think about it. Do you think thoughts like, why would this work for me? Or maybe you had this thought, I don't think I can do that. And on this podcast, I like to talk about business and your personal life because I always will tell you that your business and your personal life are always intertwined. You can never separate the two. And I know this from experience. And like close to 30 years now, I've had experience with having my own business and helping my husband run his own business. And for some reason, those two things, business and personal life, can never be separated. It's really hard. But I want to ask you this question because I want you to think about it, really seriously think about it. Because, there's things in your personal life that you might have thought these things, or you might feel like you are your biggest obstacle for personal things. And maybe you do have a business you just started and maybe you feel like you're still your biggest obstacle. Or if you're thinking about starting a business, but you feel like you're the biggest obstacle, so you're never going to get started. And I've been where you are because if you think about it, if we dig down deep, and we just spent some time uncovering all the hidden thoughts and feelings that are going on in our heart and our mind, we'll be able to find out what's really happening under there. And sometimes those thoughts and feelings never, ever are spoken about or never shared with anyone because we're afraid, and you could be afraid of what somebody's going to say. Are they going to judge you? Are they going to not want to be your family? They not, not that it's easy to get rid of extended family, like parents, siblings, all that kind of stuff. But even if you have a spouse, it's sometimes hard to deal with that. But there's so much fear that you and I can have when it comes to sharing our thoughts and our feelings about what's going on in our heart and our mind, because it can be scary. The unknown is scarier sometimes than the known. But in order for you to have any kind of breakthrough or success, you have to peel back all the layers and dig down deep, get that big shovel and dig. And, a lot of people use the example of peeling back the layers of an onion. It can, if you peel an onion without doing it under water, running water, then it will burn your eyes and make you cry. So that's a really good example. Is if you peel back even one layer, all the little juices come flying out and it'll burn your eyes. And sometimes it feels like that's what life is like. All the obstacles that you have going on in your mind and your heart, it's real. It can make you cry. It can make you do a lot of things, and it can prevent you from doing a lot of things and prevent you from moving ahead and following your heart and following your dreams or fulfilling your dreams. And so I want to use the example of an obstacle course, because have you ever gone through an obstacle course? Or have you watched someone go through one? It's pretty exciting when you're watching it versus actually going through it yourself. But if you actually have gone through it, you know how hard it is, because every obstacle course is different. Some of them have all those tires you got to jump through. Some you have this really super high wall you have to climb over. And sometimes they have those ropes that you have to crawl underneath it. It can be hard and brutal And it's even harder if it's hot outside and you're sweating and the sun is just making you so tired and exhausted. And, I haven't done one, I think, since I was a kid, or a teenager. But it's pretty interesting where the obstacle course that uses all of these things for you to go through, like the tires and the rope and the wall, that's such a great analogy for our life, because when you have to jump into each tire, it can be really challenging depending on how tall you are or how short you are, because I'm like barely 5'2", and depending how long your legs are and how wide the tires are and all that kind of stuff, it's really hard. And even getting over a wall, if you don't have like upper body strength, it's going to be really hard to climb up if you have to pull yourself up somehow to get over that wall. And all of these little things in a real obstacle course is a great example of like the big things you have to overcome, like getting over the wall. Sometimes, I don't know if you feel like this, but if you have something big, a big project or something big that you have to do, or it's going to take a long time and you're not sure of all the details and you're not even sure how in the world you're going to get it done or how it's supposed to be done, it's like you have this big wall staring in front of you and you look up and you think, oh my gosh, this wall is like 1,000,000 feet tall. There's no way I'm going to get over this wall. And I felt like that too when I have big projects. I'm like, there's no way I can get this project done. I need help and I need like 100 years to do it. So I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but it is real. And it just can freak you out and wear you out and make you tired just thinking about what you have to do to get over this wall and do your project or whatever it is that you have to do that seems so daunting. But if you think about it, all of these things are such a great experience for us. But you have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to climb the wall, jump through the tires, crawl underneath the rope. You have to be willing to do all of these things in your life in order to grow and to learn. Because once you do that really hard thing, that big project or that big something for someone, whether it's in your personal life or whether it's for your job, if you have a job, it's so rewarding when it's done and you've done it and, it took you a long time or there were tears involved. I know I've cried many times for a lot of things, personal and business. But it's such a triumphant feeling, like you feel so good about yourself after you've done it. So think about something hard that you've ever had to do in your life and that you've accomplished it and you did it where you thought you'd never be able to do it. There are at least one example, there's at least one time in your life, I'm pretty sure, that you've had this. Because, if you think about it, like a baby cannot walk until it falls down at least 100 times. So think about all of these things. We were all babies once. We fell down 100 times or more maybe just to learn how to walk. And, it's the same thing when you become an adult. You just have to do it even though there's going to be pain and there's the unknown. But you can go through and overcome this obstacle. You can get over it, go under it, go around it. You can do all the things that need to get done. You can do it because you've had experience. And it's really easy to forget about all the things that we've gone through since we were a baby. Of course, it's really not common for people to remember what they went through as a baby. But, from the time we were babies, we've gone through a lot of things. We've cried a lot. We've skinned our knees or elbows a lot. We've gotten hurt. We've fallen down and gotten back up. Somebody has always been there to give us a hand up. Someone has always been there to help us. And that's what I want to share with you is that even though you feel like you're your own obstacle, you can do this. You can overcome it. You can get through it. And I want to help you too. If you are interested in working with me, let me know. Send me an email to aloha@janandjohnston.com and share with me what you need help with and, some of your thoughts and ideas, because I love it when we help each other. Like, I'm a people person and I love being around people and talking to people and cheering them on. And I just think it's just the most amazing thing that anyone could ever do is to help someone else. It's indescribable what it's like. And I'm sure you know, because there are times where if you've lived life anywhere, anytime past your teenage years, you've had to help someone. And so I want you to remember that. If you ever think you're your own obstacle and you think, why would this work for me? Or I don't think I can do that. I want you to really think about, is that statement really true? Get a journal. I always recommend getting a journal and write things out. And ask yourself if that's really true. If you think you can do that, or why would this work for me? Well, why not? Why wouldn't it work for you? If that's the desire of your heart, things will always work out for you if it's a desire coming from your heart. Sometimes it just may take a little time, but that's how life is. Things don't always happen the next minute just because we have a desire. We do have to work at it and overcome all those obstacles. But you can do things, and those things will work for you because you have a desire in your heart for a reason. And it's usually so that you can benefit your life and bless other people's lives and bless your own life too. So I want you to remember that, okay? Just get that journal out and write down all these things that you're thinking, because sometimes it's fear that's just stopping us. The fear is the big wall in front of us. It's that big word that's written right across the wall that says fear staring at you. But you know what? You just go ahead and you ignore that word, fear, and that thought and that feeling, and you just climb that wall and get over that fear wall. I know you can do this because you have worth and value, and that's what I'm here to remind you of. And so think about this today. Let me know what you think as well. I would love your thoughts on all these things that I'm talking about. And you do have a creative assignment. Your creative assignment is to write down your desire that you have. What are the desires in your heart, and what is the obstacle that's holding you back? Are you your own obstacle? And do you think you can do it, or do you think you can't do it? That's your creative assignment for today. And let me know what answers you get. Usually journaling sometimes gives you some really good answers. That's another way that God talks to people too, is when they're writing and journaling. He helps you understand things, and thoughts can come to your mind, and he can share some things that he wants you to know. So turn to God for help, because we're only human. We can't do this alone. We need help from on high. So do this for yourself today. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it, especially if you know that they're thinking about starting their own business. Or even if they're not, there's still great value that I share in each episode that can bring value to women, even if they aren't interested in starting their own business. And please rate and review this podcast. I would appreciate it. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Aloha.